My name is Malia Ortloff, and I'm the Public Affairs Officer for Education for Eastern Municipal Water District. We have a pretty extensive education program. We work with 11 school districts within our service area, and we provide outreach in the form of field trips, community events, classroom presentations. We work with high school students doing an event called Solar Cup. We have a writing program, we have an art program, and we work very well with the community and schools within our area. When the kids come out for a field trip, they arrive at our wastewater treatment facility in San Jacinto, California, and we take them on a little field trip of the wastewater treatment facilities.
We got rid of the solids, but the water is still dirty. So at this point, we've got to clean that water up.
So we have a little gross factor mixed in with the education, but it works out perfectly because it kind of engages the students and they learn a lot through that process.
If we come over to this building here called the Flood Dewatering Building, okay? In that building, we want to make sure that we separate the rest of the water from the dead microorganisms. So we put it into something that's like a big washing machine. We call it a centrifuge. It spins around really fast. All of the remaining water flies out of it, and it comes back through the process. And then the dead microorganisms get all dried out, and we dump them onto a conveyor belt, and they go up and out a window into the back of a big truck like you see over there.
After we're finished at that part, we hop back on the bus and we head to the back of our facility where we have a beautiful multi-purpose constructed wetlands, and we do some bird watching. And some of the kids have never even picked up a pair of binoculars, and this gives them a wonderful opportunity to be at one with nature and get them away from the technology they're so used to, and it's an awesome experience. Then we hop back on the bus and we head to our education facility where the kids have lunch, and then they come into the classroom and we do a couple of demonstrations for them. The main demonstration that we do for the kids is our non-point source pollution demonstration, and so we're basically showing them all of the things that can happen in the community and what we need to watch out for, because everything that we do has a consequence downstream and it affects our watershed. And then once we teach them that, we tell them that's not the end of it, because once our watershed is impacted, then it also impacts our groundwater, and then we go into our groundwater model demonstration. And that, I think, has such a huge impact on the students when you see their faces, when they're watching the whole presentation and they see the connection. It's like a light bulb goes off in their head, and it's such a great opportunity to see that.
Whatever happens on top of the earth impacts us beneath the earth. Whatever we do in Menifee affects Temecula. Whatever we do in Temecula affects Hemet. Whatever we do in Hemet affects Menifee. That's exactly how the earth works, but instead of it taking 30 minutes, it takes years, and you all can make a difference.
And then we have several activity stations. We like the kids to know that drought is a big thing in our area, and so even when we're not in an emergency situation, we always need to be drought conscious. So that's something that we do with them. We do a little quiz to make sure that they know information about the drought, and the nice thing about the quiz is they take the quiz, they get to spin a wheel, and they get to win a little prize, and they love that. A new addition to our education center is our Augmented Reality sandbox, where we use kinetic sand, and the kids get to look into this big box with sand that has a projected image of a topography map, and they can create watersheds, they can create rain by using little clouds and making shadows, and then it causes it to virtually rain, and they can see how watersheds are impacted by making changes in the geography, and it's a great visual for them, as well as something that they get to touch and feel and do because they love that. We also have an area where the kids get to just think about the flow of water. When they think of water, they just think of it as flowing through pipelines to get to their house, and we want them to know that we pump water uphill, it flows downhill, it leaves our house in a vortex. It can create energy along the way, and so we just have different little hands-on things that they can touch to kind of simulate that action. They get to make little drought bracelets where every single bead means something different. We have buttons at the button station, so they color a little template, and then we make it into a button for them, so they have their very own designer buttons that they made themselves that can remind them to use water. Back at the back of our stations, they get to do their own little groundwater experiment. They take a little test tube, they get to rain on the test tube that has rocks in it to simulate underground, and then they pollute it, and then they find out that it doesn't just pollute on top, it affects us underneath the earth. They also get to learn the properties of hydrophobic and hydrophilic. Hydrophobic being something that can't mix and blend, and hydrophilic meaning something that can mix and blend, so they're learning those properties of water. We have a wonderful display that one of our staff members created, and then other staff members helped build it and put it together, and the kids find out how water gets to their house through pipes underground and how much water it takes to run sprinklers efficiently and not efficiently, and then also they can find out how much water they're wasting if they let the water run when they brush their teeth, and this makes a great impact to them. It's a really great visual for them. We have some animal evidence where they get to look at the bugs and the skulls and the microorganisms under slides, and so this is a really nice thing for them to kind of connect our wetlands part of the field trip to the water situation. And then we have another evidence station where we've got stuffed animals, but they're Audubon birds, and so if you squeeze them, they make the sound of that bird, so that I tell them if you're out and you're walking and you hear that sound, you're going to recognize, oh, that's a loon or that's a wren. You're going to recognize that bird sound. And then we do a little Wetlands Dictionary where they can go up with their friends and they look at something, they draw it, they look at the little card, they draw it, and then their friend has to guess what it is that they're drawing, and we have it all be water related. What I want them to take away from this experience is I want them to think about water, not just they turn the tap on and there it is. I want them to realize there's a process, and then also I want them to see that process from that part all the way to the end, including the flushing or down the sink, realizing that it has to go somewhere, and where does it go and what happens. And when they board that bus, it's a thought process. When they get ready to leave, we give them little goodies to take with them, like a turn-it-off toothbrush and a pencil that changes colors, but we also give them a little journal sheet so that they can write us a letter to tell us about their experience. And the reason we do that is I want to see those letters coming back in and telling us what they learned. And so it gives me a greater opportunity to think, oh, I might need to tweak this or change that, or wow, they got it and they're right on point with what they got, and this is what we want to happen. And that is the best thing ever. When those letters come in and we read these letters and we know what they're learning, it's amazing. EMWD, serving our community today and tomorrow.